Welcome to another Teacher Tip with Mr. Long, and here we are looking at tips particularly for grade 12 students. And these are 5 things you need to know for your grade 12 final exams. And this is if you're writing the NSC departmental exams. So please take note of the following things that you're going to have to know. And the first thing is that you may not use your name or your school name in any place in the exam paper. On the front page, you're going to be writing in your examination number, but nowhere else in the paper can you even write your name or school name. There must be no way to identify who you are besides your examination number, which appears on the front page. As you can see in the instructions, it clearly says there that your name or even the name of your school may not appear anywhere in this answer booklet. And the second thing you need to know is that you may not tear out any pages out of your exam booklet. If you do this, it can be an irregularity. Do not tear anything out of that exam booklet. Leave it as it is. If you make a mistake, rather put a line through the work that you don't want to be marked, but do not tear anything out. Then the third thing that you need to know is that you may only use a black or blue pen. There are special circumstances, but they will tell you about that. But for majority of the exams, you may only use black or blue. And nowhere in the exam paper can you use Tipp-Ex or any other correction fluid. If you made a mistake, rather scratch it out, but you may not use Tipp-Ex anywhere in the exam paper, even on the front page where you fill in your details. And please make sure that your work is consistent. Use the same color pen throughout the exam paper. Don't change pen colors. And keep your handwriting the same. Don't write cursive in one section and then on another question you write in block letters. When the markers see a change in writing style or a change in pen, it could cause suspicions about multiple people adding to this exam paper. So rather be consistent. Use the same color pen and use the same writing style throughout. And then the fourth thing to know is when it comes to using multiple booklets. There may come a time when one booklet is not enough and you need to ask for another booklet. Make sure you take note of the following if this happens. When you get your extra booklet, make sure that you fill in all the details on the front page, like you did with the first booklet, with a slight few modifications. On your first booklet, on the first page where you list all your questions, make sure that you list all the questions throughout all the booklets. But on the extra book, there you should list only the questions that are in that book. So on the first page, they'll know all the questions you attempted, but in each extra booklet, they will see which questions are in those ones. Make sure that you indicate the book numbers on the front page. So for example, on the first book that you start off with, you will write book 1 of 2 if you've used only 2 books in this exam. That's why I tend to leave this part of the front page until the very end of the exam paper. And then on your additional books, you can write down 2 of 2, or if you use more than 2, then you can obviously change those numbers. But your first initial book will be 1 of, and then your other books will be 2 of, 3 of, and so on. Your invigilator will help you to staple those books to the first one, and they must be stapled in the correct order. And that's the process when it comes to multiple booklets. And please make sure that you don't take any booklets out of the exam. If you asked for a spare one and you didn't use it, you must give it back. No booklets may be removed from the venue, even if you didn't use them. And then the fifth thing to know is regarding the layout of how you answer your questions. So let's look at how you label your question numbers. In the instructions, they ask you to put the main question heading in the middle of the page at the start of each new page, and then the sub-questions you put on the left-hand side, like here, question 3 in the middle and 3.1 on the side. They also ask that you leave 2 lines after each question and don't write in the margins. As you can see in these instructions, they're in bold. A blank space of at least 2 lines should be left after each question, and do not write in the margins. Now these are the current instructions. They may change over time, so make sure that you are reading the instructions to see if there are any changes or if there's anything special that needs to be done for your particular subject. And then if there's any work that you don't want to be marked, like rough work, make sure you draw a line through it. So this includes anything that you don't want to be marked, or any rough work, draw a neat line through it. Do not use any Tipp-Ex, just draw a line through it. And then make sure you use every side of the pages in the booklet. You cannot ask for a new booklet unless you've used every side, so write on both sides of each page, and then if your booklet's finished, then you can ask for a new one. And then on a special note, at the end of the exam, you're going to need to be patient, especially if there's a large group of you writing. There's a lot of work that needs to be done with regard to recording all the paperwork and administration work that needs to be done, like double checking that all the front pages are correct, labeling all the exam papers in the correct order, making sure all the registers are photocopied and that. And this does take a bit of time. The best thing you can do is put your head down and wait patiently until the invigilators can get all that done. The more patient you are, the quicker they can get through that process, the quicker they can release you from that exam venue. I know it can be frustrating, especially in those big exams, but all that administration work has to be done correctly so that you get the marks that you've worked so hard for. So let's recap those things that you need to know for your grade 12 final exams. Number 1, make sure that you don't put your name or school name anywhere in the exam paper. Number 2, don't tear out any pages of that exam booklet. Number 3, make sure that you're only using black or blue pen and no Tipp-Ex and be consistent with your writing. Number 4, make sure that you follow the whole procedure when it comes to using multiple booklets if you need to. And number 5, make sure that your writing layout is as they want it for that exam. Double check the instructions if you're not too sure. And if you follow all of these things, then I'm sure that your exams will go smoothly. Good luck, grade 12s. Write well for these exams, and hopefully you'll be doing it the Mr. Long way. Most of our teacher tips are for teachers, but if you go look for the exam tips playlist, you'll find lots of tips that can help students. So remember that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check out our other channels as well to help you there. And remember, don't do it the long way, do it the Mr. Long way.